Things come onto your screen, images flashing as a song plays. That song is Fozzie's Spotlight. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I've got my eye on you. Like a Marvel movie, various scenes from Season 2 of the CWF flash suddenly across the screen, until it comes up with the CWF Vanguard logo. Gill Coliseum, Oregon State University campus. Corvallis, Oregon. Spotlight. It then starts off with shots from the CWF Valor title scramble from Urban Warfare, with various shots of action from the match that was held on the last episode of Vanguard as the Urban Warfare pre-show. I know you've got a secret. It's buried down below. Deep within the basement. Let it go, let it go. It cuts to a shot of Eddie Williams being caught cheating in the Valor title scramble, and then Aero Waters being announced as the winner. I know you've got your issues. A homicidal mind. Silence cannot save you. I'm bringing you to light. A shot of Larry Lansdowne as he hits his freezer frame cutter and picks up a rare win against Demonic. 'Cause every lie you tell, I know. Everywhere you go, I go. It's written on your face. Every thought you have betrays you. Now. The Carnival picking up the win and then kissing the middle of the ring to become the #1 contenders for the CWF Tag Team titles and winning the shot at S3E2 of Warzone. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. Team Reinhardt wrestling Pacific Rim for the CWF Tag Team titles, highlighting Kellyath Lanourt's attempts to not wrestle Cara Reinhardt. It ends with Cara Reinhardt dropping Kellya with a Dresden driver right onto her own brother's chest to then score a pinfall victory and claim the tag team straps for her and her brother. Go on and bury it down. I'll follow you till it's out. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Armand von Kraus making a rare wrestling appearance, and hitting the heart punch on Charlie Fiegel that leads to his victory in the cage in the No Escape match from Urban Warfare. You're the wicked, I'm a sharp knife. Shining on you like a spotlight. I'm a witness, I'm a dark night. You're a sickness, I'm your spotlight. Scenes from the first fall of the 3 stages of Hell match with Ravenna Jaeger trying to claim the elite title from Valora Salinas. The first fall ending with Valora openly getting disqualified during the Pure Wrestling Rules match, by not breaking a hold in the ropes, and giving that fall away. Slip into the censor. Safe in your disguise. From memories dismembered. Away from prying eyes. Valora Salinas picking up the second fall in the Street Fight Rules portion of the match, with an Aztec moonsault through a table onto Jaeger. I'll be with you forever. The sweat pooled on your brow. The guilt that slowly festers. Eating inside out, and the third fall of the 3 stages of Hell match. Jaeger quitting while locked in the Aztec clutch. It then cuts to the aftermath, where Ravenna Jaeger has to bare her breasts, but the shot is censored as this is not a pay-per-view showing, but an opening credits recap of Vanguard. 'Cause every lie you tell, I know. Everywhere you go, I go. It's written on your face. Every thought you have betrays you. Now. Shots of the 5 entrances into the Star Chamber match-up, El Gringo Diablo, Greg Salazar, and Cronin Reinhardt. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. More Star Chamber entrances with the last 2, Frank Windsor, followed by Rob Riot as the Janus Man. Go on and bury it down. I follow you till it's out. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Greg Salazar tapping out El Gringo Diablo in the gun metal lock. You're the wicked, I'm a sharp knife. Shining on you like a spotlight. I'm a witness, I'm a dark night. You're a sickness, I'm your spotlight. Salazar and Reinhardt standing in the ring, not fighting until the timer drops from 3 minutes to 30 seconds, and then it cuts to Frank Windsor's pod opening. It's then followed by some shots of Windsor fighting off both Reinhardt and Salazar. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. J-Man's pod opening and him joining in the fight to make it a four-way fight during the Star Chamber match. It especially highlights the bastards executing a double-eat defeat on Cronin Reinhardt. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. Cronin Reinhardt hitting a Chaos Theory-style rolling set of German suplexes, spiked at the end by the sniper shot backstabber from Greg Salazar, leading to a Frank Windsor elimination. Go on and bury it down. I'll follow you till it's out. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Back and forth action with uppercuts, palm strikes, cutting kicks, and ending in a metal meltdown powerbomb, also spiked with a sniper shot. Followed by Reinhardt getting the pinfall on Riot. You're the wicked, I'm a sharp knife. Shining on you like a spotlight. I'm a witness, I'm a dark knight. You're a sickness, I'm your spotlight. The rolling death by suplex on Greg Salazar by Cronin Reinhardt ending with him standing tall having secured the CWF Conquest Championship. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. A fading shot of the celebration in the ring with both Reinhardts holding up all their titles. The show starts with a drone flyover shot of the crowd from the end opposite the entrance ramp. The screen shows that tonight 8,700 of a capacity of 9,600 CWF fans were in the Gill Coliseum. Various signs of course are shown. But a good portion of them are being black-barred out. The drones hit the stage area and a small bit of fireworks goes off and then the drone zooms down to the announcer's table, where Jessica Carr and Victoria Hill are seated. Jessica Carr, good evening and welcome to the second episode of CWF's Vanguard of Season 3. Although, as you may have noticed, we started this show off with a replay of the opening for Episode 1's show, which came after Urban Warfare. Victoria Hill, lots of things have happened since we aired last time, where we held a tournament through our entire show, except for the finals, which were held on Warzone, for the censored trios titles. Jessica Carr, and yes, you just heard that right. The name of the entity we held the tourney for was censored. We're still a little in the dark, but sadly we have to inform you that the entity that we ran the trios tourney for has gone out of business. Victoria Hill, I personally feel that we wasted an entire show on some fly-by-night operation. But well, it was fun. I guess. Jessica Carr, well, we're not going to hash on too many things with that. Otherwise we'll get bleeped more than a Frank Windsor in-ring promo. But, we do have a hell of a show set up for you tonight. Victoria Hill, but going to start off by saying that on Warzone, Armand von Kraus says he will address the situation with the censored, and how the CWF will be moving on from there. Jessica Carr, damn right we will be. But back to tonight's show. We're going to be seeing all three members of the Viper Squad in singles action. Starting with the future Kyle will be taking on a returning Apathy. Victoria Hill, she's had some medical issues as of late, even having issues in the ring. But, let's hope she's cleared that up. But she's got a challenger tonight, as the Viper Squad would like to overcome their loss last show in the first round to the Upstarts. Hey, we can say the Upstarts. Jessica Carr, I'm told we will not have an issue mentioning some talent. Especially those who contain CWF contracted individuals. The Upstarts do have Abigail Dresden as a member. Victoria Hill, good to know. But also later won the Daredevil Mad Morales of the Viper Squad will take on Kuro Hono. Jessica Carr, Hono has had a rough start in the CWF. He got actually disqualified in the Valor title scramble, and his team basically got punked out last Vanguard. Victoria Hill, and the last Viper, Monster Mammoth will be taking on our own hardcore icon, Steve Murdoch, Jessica Carr, and we've been informed that the challenge by Monster Mammoth to turn that match into a hardcore match has been agreed upon by our director, Jane Coughlin. So tonight's main event will be Monster Mammoth and Steve Murdoch with no rules. Victoria Hill, well, that's going to be fine by me. Finally get to see some blood on Vanguard. Jessica Carr, well, we might get some blood before then. As we'll be starting things off with a brewing rivalry. Gabriel Tuck, Armand von Kraus Hitman, taking on a real hitman in Owen O'Rourke. Victoria Hill, or as some people also know him as, Mr. Apathy. There is a reason why they have the same last name. Jessica Carr. Well, last Warzone, Owen O'Rourke tried to intimidate one of our referees, and found out that referee pays for some protection from Gabriel Tuck. This led to Tuck using a pair of brass knuckles on O'Rourke. Tonight, will they settle this, or is this just the start of something bigger? Victoria Hill. I guess we're about to find out. Jessica Carr. And that's our cue to toss it to Marcela Sancho in the ring. Marcela Sancho. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. First, the challenger, hailing from Leitrim, Ireland, he is Owen O'Rourke. Lights dim in the arena as guitar riffs in the arena. Then as the music reaches a high point. Oh! A soul light shines on the stage with Owen O'Rourke standing on the stage with his eyes closed, arms stretched wide and hands open. It's a smoke and mirrors. It's a day in, day out prison. You're living in, it's smothering the power in you. Owen opens his eyes and lowers his arms and begins marches down the ramp. When the world's out of control. And time is always racing. Everybody has a place where they can let it go. Owen makes it to ringside and he stands in front of the ring. He begins cracking his neck and hopping on the sides, then he dives into the ring and rolls to stand back up with his arms stretched again with a green spotlight over him. And fall into the feeling. Take a breath and never leave it. When the world is overwhelming, just close your eyes, you'll find the strength to seize the day. Nothing standing in your way. Just fall into the feeling. Take a breath, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. Owen lowers his arms and walks around the ring, taking off his red glasses and jacket and readying for the match. Jessica Carr. Owen ran into Gabriel after he shoved referee, Troy Reynolds. Gabriel was on the take in case Troy needed backup. A strange move on Troy's part. Victoria Hill. Why not? Got a lot of dangerous people in this company. Gotta have some kind of protection for yourself. Marcela Sancho, and his opponent, from the open road, Gabriel Tuck. Iron Wolf by Beast Wars begins playing as Gabriel Tuck walks out from the back. He howls to the fans, but they boo right back. Instead of being upset at the booing, Gabriel leans into the hate and laughs. He makes his way down to the ring with his eyes on Owen O'Rourke. He rolls into the ring and howls again to get more booing from the fans. He just shrugs it off and motions for Owen to bring it on. Jessica Carr. Gabriel looking to start this match right away. Victoria Hill. Might as well get it going. As the bell sounds to start the match, Owen O'Rourke makes his way across the ring to get into Gabriel's face. Gabriel just grins. Gabriel Tuck, you know that I busted you in the chops for $50, but you wanna know a secret? I would have done busted your ugly mug for hot dog and a fucking handshake. Owen's eyes go wide and he aims a shot right at Gabriel's mouth when Gabriel catches him by the wrist and turns the motion into a collar elbow lockup. He pushes Owen towards the center of the ring when Owen presses back and gets Gabriel into the corner. Gabriel sticks his head outside of the ropes and referee, Georgina Ross, forces him to break up the hold and back up. Owen backs up with his hands in the air, but Gabriel charges out of the corner once Georgina is clear and takes Owen down with a clothesline. He puts the boots to Owen, stomping on him to keep him down until Owen can get rolled away from Gabriel and back to his feet. Owen sneers and rushes at Gabriel, hitting a hard right hand and then another. These punches rock Gabriel backward to the ropes where he leans against them for support. Owen grabs Gabriel by the shoulders and delivers a stiff headbutt that rocks the thug to his core. Owen releases Gabriel and steps to the side so that Gabriel can flop face first to the mat. Jessica Carr. Owen really kicking some butt here. Victoria Hill. I would hope so. He said he was going to destroy Gabriel in the ring. Owen pulls Gabriel up and whips him into the ropes, nailing a Luthez press on the rebound, nailing the mounted Gabriel with hard right hands. Owen gets up and pulls Gabriel up, grabbing him by the neck and throwing him across the ring. When Gabriel gets up, Owen backs him into the corner with a series of European uppercuts before grabbing the top rope and hitting several knee lifts to the gut. A back roll throw sends Gabriel to the center of the ring and onto his back. Owen gets up and walks over to Gabriel as he rolls over to his hands and knees. Owen O'Rourke. No smart-ass remarks? You kind of suck when you're not ambushing someone, ain't you? Jessica Carr, Owen getting a bit arrogant. Victoria Hill, he's got a right to be since he's been beating Gabriel pillar to post tonight. Gabriel starts to get up when Owen punt kicks him in the face, sending blood and spittle spraying across the mat. He presses his foot to the back of Gabriel's neck, pressing his bloodied face into the mat. Gabriel rolls out from under Owen's foot and to his feet. He wipes blood from his mouth with the back of his hand and growls. Gabriel lunges up, catching Owen with a spear. He lifts up and slams Owen into the corner. He leaps up into the air, hitting a Heikan Rana and sending Owen toward the center of the ring. Gabriel gets back up to the top rope and nails a missile dropkick as Owen gets back to his feet. He gets up and pulls Owen up, grabbing him into a side headlock. He holds onto the move for a moment before dropping Owen into a headlock driver. He goes for the pinfall, Georgina getting into position to count. 1, 2, ... Owen kicks out. Jessica Carr, almost there. Victoria Hill, just a bit more damage. Gabriel gets to his feet and pulls Owen up and whips him into the ropes. On the rebound, Gabriel does a front flip drop kick, sending Owen back to the ropes. Gabriel is back up and at Owen to try to clothesline him over the ropes when Owen moves out of the way and grabs Gabriel to send him over the ropes to the concrete floor. Owen slides out of the ring and grabs Gabriel, whipping him into the ring steps to demolish them. He walks over as Gabriel starts to get up and shoves him down with a kick. He then pulls Gabriel up into a suplex position, hitting a standing suplex onto the concrete floor. He rolls Gabriel back into the ring, picking something up off of the floor, and rolls into the ring. Jessica Carr, what was that? Victoria Hill, I don't know. Did Gabriel drop something and Owen pick it up? Jessica Carr, that seems to be what happened. Victoria Hill, that would probably be bad news for Gabriel. Owen has concealed whatever it was from the referee, Georgina Ross, for now. Owen starts to pull Gabriel up, but gets pulled down into a jawbreaker. Gabriel gets up and runs across the ring to the ropes as Owen gets back up. On the rebound, Gabriel hits a high crossbody block. Gabriel gets back up to his feet and runs to the ropes again. Gabriel leaps at the rising Owen, seeking a wolf strike, Superman punch, but Owen hits an uppercut with a pair of pie brass knuckles instead. Gabriel flies through the air and lands on the mat, unconscious. Georgina signals for the bell to be sounded. Marcela Sancho, winner of the match via disqualification, Gabriel Tuck. Owen O'Rourke walks over to the downed Gabriel Tuck and tosses the pie brass knuckles onto him. He reaches into a pocket and pulls out his own pair and shrugs, and Gabriel starts to groan and stir. Owen O'Rourke, I had my own, but I thought that using yours was so much better. See ya. Jessica Carr, so, Gabriel won, but only because Owen cheated. Victoria Hill, he had to do what he had to do. Jessica Carr, yeah, I mean he was a step away from losing anyway. Victoria Hill, I agree. Best to go out on his own terms. Owen O'Rourke makes his way to the back as Gabriel Tuck slowly gets up to his feet, rubbing his jaw. Jessica Carr, I'm sure that's not going to set well with Gabriel Tuck. I'm sure we'll find out when we come back. Victoria Hill, gotta pay the bills people. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors, Utter Bullshit Beer. Your life is empty. Our bottles aren't. Available where all good beer is sold. The show comes back, and find that Monster Mammoth has been caught in the back by a camera crew that could ask about how he's preparing for a match with the hardcore icon, Steve Murdoch, later on tonight. Mammoth pauses, looking at the interviewer with an intimidating glare. After several, long, uncomfortable seconds, Mammoth answers. This time facing the camera itself while standing to his full, towering height. Monster Mammoth, I didn't come here to CWF to be asked how are you preparing? Or how are you feeling? Let's get this right for the first and last time. The only thing I prepare for is my victory. The only thing I feel is the pain of my opponents before I break them down and bring out the inner freak. Mammoth raises his hand up to grab the camera. Holding it roughly in his one hand, holding eye contact at the same level as his head. Monster Mammoth, a true freak doesn't care who gets into the ring with them. A true freak only cares about who leaves the ring with them. I know that after this match, when I leave Murdoch more broken than he's ever been, they will be calling me the hardcore icon. They will be calling me the best to ever do it. They will be calling me the next CWF Elite Champion. Mammoth shoves the camera back towards the person holding it before, then leans in uncomfortably close to the interviewer. Huffing like a beast, then whispering. Monster Mammoth, so, says the freak. The camera goes back to the announcers. Jessica Carr, well, he's big, he's a freak, but Monster Mammoth has got his sights on getting past Steve Murdoch and eventually becoming CWF Elite Champion. Victoria Hill, well, many have tried to take that title off for Laura Salinas, Steve Murdoch included. But can't take anything away from him for dreaming. Jessica Carr, well, we're about to start off with our Team Viper triple-header tonight, as the future Kyle will be taking on Elizabeth DeVio O'Rourke, or better known as Apathy. Victoria Hill, Apathy has had some medical issues as of late. Are we sure she's cleared to compete tonight? Jessica Carr, well, Marcella is in the ring, let's find out. Marcella Sancho, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Featuring first the challenger, hailing from New York, New York. The future Kyle. As the music starts, the lights go out and it's pitch black. About 25 seconds go by and Kyle emerges from the back as the lights come on, and he makes his way on stage. While on stage, he stops and looks around for a few seconds before making his way down the ramp. He casually strolls down the ramp because he knows he's better than everyone. As he gets the ring, he walks up the steps and stops on the crowd side of the apron for a few seconds. He gets into the ring and climbs the turnbuckle and just takes a second to bask in the light before stepping down. Once the lights come on, purple lights flash with the music. Jessica Carr, you know that Kyle has put in an order for a new Conquest Championship belt tailored to his tastes for when he wins it. Victoria Hill, this is his first singles match? Could he really be that arrogant? I mean, is Armand really going to order him a belt? Jessica Carr, no, silly. He's not going to order a championship belt for someone who hasn't got a score in the W column yet. Marcella Sancho, and his opponent, hailing from Alsace-Lorraine, France, she is Apathy Elizabeth Devereaux O'Rourke. The sound of a vintage picture reel began to click and pop, the screen illuminating up and counting down like a picture show. The pops, scratches, nicks, and debris covered the screen, the numbers counting down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, as the reel continued, the faint familiar sound of a text message being composed. The telltale sound of clicks followed by the sound of a message received. The demonic, distorted voice of Skun creeps through. You're gonna have to prove me wrong. On the screen, a barrage of action shots, in still form from Apathy's career, centered and fixated, like an old film would. As the arena went down, red and white lights bathing the fans in a sea of color, Elizabeth rose from beneath the stage, head lowered, arms outstretched. A mixed chorus of boos, jeers, and cheers pelted at her. She gradually raises her head, soaking in the animosity and fervent support. Inhaling it like a drug. Hashtag I love you, now die. I love you, now die. I love you, now die. I love you, now hash. As the heavy bass kicks in and the words of the chorus reverberate through the arena, she snaps her head up, a cocky self-assured smirk creeping across her lips as she saunters her way to the ring, casually engaging towards the fans, either encouraging more of their venomous verbal harassment or acknowledging the respect and adoration from her legions and devotees, basking in the glow. Hashtag go, in your truck and drive in a parking lot. Do it early, do it now. Do it early, do it now, go, just park and sit there in your car. It will take 20 minutes, it will take 20 minutes. Hashtag go, in your truck and drive in a parking lot. Do it early, do it now, do it early, do it now, go, just park and sit there in your car. It will take 20 minutes, it will take 20 minutes. As the perverse and twisted sound of Skun's auto-tuned verbal melody pulsates through the speakers, Elizabeth stops at the base of the walkway, grinning from ear to ear as she playfully mouths the words, "It will take 20 minutes," holding up 2 fingers and flashing them forwards and backwards as she says 20 minutes, then rushes the apron, hopping up and catapulting herself over the top rope, rolling through to the far side of the ring and climbing the turnbuckle and extending her arms, bowing aristocratically and smugly as her coup de grace. Jessica Carr, It might be a bit arrogant of Elizabeth to declare that this will only take 20 minutes after her injury at the hands of Frank Windsor. Victoria Hill, she knows her body, and if she says that she's ready, then she's ready. Also, it helps that she has been checked out in the back by ringside doctor, Evie Wood, before the show to make sure that she was good enough to compete. The bell sounds to start the match and Kyle rushes up to get into Apathy's face. "Kyle, I'm the best around. You'll never get me down." Apathy, I was young like you once. Young, dumb, and full of cum. I shit-talked my betters then too. Guess what happened? Kyle, lemme guess, you kicked their asses like I'm going to you. Apathy, wrong. Kyle takes a wild swing at Apathy, who easily ducks under the shot. She delivers a double palm strike to the midsection to get Kyle to double over and then hits a leaping double palm uppercut strike to the face of Kyle to send him through the air and onto his back. She wavers a little in her stance after getting back to her feet but catches herself before she falls. Jessica Carr, still a few lingering effects from her injury at the hands of Frank Windsor, I see. Victoria Hill, the man is a monster. I think Elizabeth should work toward getting some vengeance. Kyle pops back up to his feet and looks over angrily at Apathy before charging and going for a spear. Apathy deftly sidesteps the move, even yelling "Ole," as she guides him into spearing the corner post from the inside of the ring. She rips him from the corner and slams him down to the mat with a German suplex. She steps back to the side and watches as Kyle gets back up. She bounces off of the ropes and comes at him, hitting a high kick to Kyle's face that knocks him over the ropes and to the floor. Apathy presses back against the ropes opposite of Kyle and runs across the ring as Kyle gets up, hitting a baseball slide drop kick that slams Kyle into the ring railing where he falls to the floor. Apathy pulls Kyle up and bounces his face off of the ring apron before rolling him into the ring. She climbs up to the ring apron and holds onto the ropes. He jumps to his feet and takes a swing at Apathy that she ducks and uses the ropes to slingshot her shoulder into Kyle's midsection before standing up and hitting a sunset flip to get herself into the ring. She remains in place in the ring as to go for the cover. Referee, Troy Reynolds, gets into position to make the count. 1, 2. THR Kyle kicks out. Jessica Carr, she almost put Kyle away there. Victoria Hill, just a little bit more. Apathy gets up and watches as Kyle is slow to get to his feet. She charges him and leaps into the air, seeking a Superman punch, but Kyle catches her for a pop-up sit-out spinebuster that he calls the time machine. Kyle holds on and goes for the cover. 1, 2. THR Apathy kicks out. Kyle pulls Apathy up, but she rakes her nails across his eyes. While Kyle is blinded, Apathy goes to the ropes and comes back with a Superman punch to the jaw. As he staggers, Apathy hoists him onto her shoulders and then spins them around before dropping them face first to the ground. She goes for the cover. 1, 2. 3. Marcela Sancho, winner of the match via pinfall. Apathy Elizabeth Devereaux O'Rourke. Jessica Carr, well, that was embarrassing for Kyle. Victoria Hill, well, I mean he did his best and got a little offense in there. Jessica Carr, well, true. Try again, I suppose. Victoria Hill, yup. Jessica Carr, but so far not starting off well for Team Viper tonight. Victoria Hill, they're now 0-1 out of 3. Let's see if they can turn that debut streak around. Jessica Carr, first things first, I'm told we're going to the back to catch up with Gabriel Tuck after his match from earlier. The outside door to the arena bursts open as if kicked from the inside. Gabriel Tuck walks out in his riding gear. He lights up a cigarette and growls as he takes a long drag from it. Outside waiting for him is his clown posse on their motorcycles around Gabriel's waiting hog. The clowns cheer and honk their noses as they see Gabriel, starting their motorcycles. Though they rev their engines, their clown noses are still heard above the din. Gabriel Tuck, Owen thinks he can bust me in the chops with my own fucking brass knuckles. I'll fucking show him what's for at the next show. He won't be fucking laughing when I bust him in the face so hard that his nose pops like an overgrown zit. Gabriel mounts his motorcycle and looks around him and finally take in the cheering and clown noses being honked for him. His angry expression softens as he realizes that he is their leader, but they are not required to cheer for him. He lets the memory of the cheering fans from when he was the Iron Wolf sweep over him and he sighs, holding up a hand. Gabriel Tuck, all right. You gonna make a grown man fucking blush. Let's hit the grocery store on our way out of town for supplies. We're camping outside of Portland in case Armand needs us for something. Let's ride. Gabriel takes off for the road with the rest of the clowns following behind, hooting, hollering, and honking their noses. Atlanta Fried Chicken. It's not Cat. Cannot guarantee that it's not Cat. The camera comes back on the announcer's table, with a CWF Vanguard graphic at the bottom. Jessica Carr, welcome back. We're ready and set up for the second singles debut tonight for Team Viper as the Daredevil Mad Morales, their de facto mastermind, will be taking on Kuro Hono. Victoria Hill. Hono has had a rough start, getting disqualified in the Valor title scramble at Urban Warfare, and then a very poor showing last Vanguard in that tourney we had for the censored trios titles. Jessica Carr, well, his team kinda, well, let him down. Victoria Hill, yes, they did. Can he turn that around against the Daredevil tonight? Jessica Carr, to the ring we go. Take it away, Marcella. Marcella Sancho. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Featuring first the challenger, hailing from Norfolk, Virginia, he is the Daredevil Mad Morales. As King Scar by Scarlord hits the arena darkens as the lights switch to a strobing red. As all the lights start to merge into one as it slowly goes up the ramp, it shows Morales, hands crossed under his navel and his head down. As the song hits the 28 seconds mark, the lights strobe on beat, as Morales hits a new pose each time until jumping and landing at the final strobe at 37 seconds. He then vibes out to the song, moving with a bounce on beat, rocking out with fans who join into his grunge aesthetic, jeering and taunting fans who boo or show dissatisfaction to his antics. He pauses at the ring and leaps and slides horizontal under the ring before kipping up with his index fingers pointed like horns on his head, holding the stance for a few seconds before climbing the opposite turnbuckle and pointing one finger like a horn on his head and one into the sky. Jessica Carr, I think we look to Mad Morales as the leader of Team Viper. Victoria Hill, sure it isn't Monster Mammoth. Jessica Carr, not really. Victoria Hill, could be another team of equals like the Bastards. Jessica Carr, yes, I suppose this could be the case here. Victoria Hill, Mad Morales looking sharp. Marcella Sancho, and his opponent, hailing from Tokyo, Japan, he is Kuro Hono. Kurenai by X Japan X begins playing as Kuro Hono walks out from the back to stand on the entrance stage. He takes in the boos of the fans before he makes his way down to the ring and stares at the smaller Mad Morales across the ring. Jessica Carr, as far as I know this is Kuro's last match here in the CWF. Victoria Hill, contract dispute. He's being let out of the rest of his contract. Jessica Carr, I heard he was naked and running down the aisle on the plane ride here. Victoria Hill, yes. His contract didn't include this behavior being okay. As the bell sounds to start the match, Mad Morales rushes across the ring and leaps up into the air, hitting a flying forearm smash that brings the bigger Kuro Hono down to the mat. Mad Morales watches as Kuro Hono gets up and hits alternating knee lifts into a back elbow into a jumping high knee in a combo known as grunge shot. Kuro staggers back to the ropes where Mad hops up to the middle rope and hits a back roll throw that sends the larger Kuro Hono across the ring. Mad Morales gets up and runs across the ring, hoping over the downed Kuro Honor. He leaps at the ropes and hits a springboard moonsault. He hooks a leg for the pinfall. 1. 2. Thr Kuro kicks out. Jessica Carr, Mad steamrolling over Kuro in this match. Victoria Hill, crushing victory. Mad Morales jumps to his feet while Kuro gets to all fours. Mad locks in a calf slicer, cinching it in tight. Referee, Leroy Wallace, gets into position to check to see if Kuro will submit. He refuses. Kuro attempts to roll into breaking out of the hold, but this allows Mad to cinch it in tighter. The move does get them close to the ropes and Kuro is able to reach out and grab the bottom rope to get the hold broken. Mad flees for the corner as Kuro is slow to get up and hits a springboard moonsault axe kick. This drives Kuro back down to the mat in a crash. Mad Morales jumps back to his feet and whips the rising Kuro into the ropes. On the rebound, Mad heads for the ropes and hits a springboard moonsault tornado DDT. Mad gets back to his feet and watches as Kuro is slow to get back up. He shoves Kuro. Mad Morales, fight back. Make my debut singles match more interesting, damn you. Kuro takes a swing at Mad, but the wrist is caught, the arm twisted, and Kuro flipped to the mat where Mad maintains control of the arm. Jessica Carr, this is shameful for Kuro Hono to have zero offense in this match. Victoria Hill, he may as well commit seppuku when he gets back home. Jessica Carr, I don't know if having a bunch of strange men come on him is the answer. Victoria Hill, that's bukake. Jessica Carr, oh. And then so seppuku is? Victoria Hill, ritual suicide. Jessica Carr, that's awful. Victoria Hill, well, it is / was his culture. Mad Morales looks down the aisle to the entrance stage where he sees the future Kyle and the peak of Freak Monster Mammoth coming down the aisle. He smiles and kicks Kuro in the side of the face. He releases the arm and steps back while watching Kuro Hono slowly get back to his feet, blood dripping from his mouth from where he had been kicked. Mad Morales hits a stunner, rolling backwards into locking a submission hold. The Devil's Lair. Kuro wastes no time in tapping out to the move. Monster Mammoth and Kyle get into the ring as the bell is being sounded to end the match. Mad does not release Kuro upon the end of the match. Kyle hands some cash to Leroy Wallace, who looks at Kuro Hono with a laugh before exiting the ring. Jessica Carr, he's supposed to get Mad to break the hold? Victoria Hill, I see that he's not going to do that. Jessica Carr, Mad's going to cripple Kuro? Someone needs to do something. Victoria Hill, security heading down to the ring now, but Mammoth and Kyle prevent them from entering the ring. Mad holds onto the move until there seems to be a release in Kuro's neck and a loud crack is heard. Mad Morales releases Kuro Hono and stands tall with Monster Mammoth and Kyle as security surround the ring. EMTs come down to the ring and start working on the downed Kuro Hono. Jessica Carr, I feel like this was an attack outside of a match since the match ended. Victoria Hill, oh, you might be right. I wonder how management will take this. Jessica Carr, hopefully making an example of these three. Victoria Hill, probably. We will just have to wait and see. Mad Morales gets up close and personal to a camera with a wide grin. Mad Morales, who's the fly now, bitch? The Viper squad head to the back to celebrate their victory. Jessica Carr, what was that about? Victoria Hill, I don't rightly know. Jessica Carr, well, we have one more commercial break here. Let's go to the sponsors and then come back for our first hardcore match on Vanguard, murdermatch.com. Match up with your perfect victim. From the minds that brought you X, we come back to the shot in the ring, as Marcela Sancho is ready. Jessica Carr, welcome back, we're tossing it right to the ring here, as we're about to have a hardcore matchup between Monster Mammoth and the hardcore icon Steve Murdoch. Victoria Hill, been looking forward to this all night. Blood, violence, and well, maybe something else. Marcela Sancho, the following contest is scheduled for one fall and is the main event of the evening. It is a hardcore match. Featuring first, hailing from Detroit, Michigan, he is the peak of Freak Monster Mammoth. Freak on a Leash by Korn begins as Monster Mammoth comes out from backstage, tearing off a propped-up curtain from the walkway. Putting it over his head, covering his eyes, and standing under a purple light on the stage for 15 seconds. He rolls his neck eerily from side to side, before ripping off the curtain and throwing it into the crowd. He points to himself while walking down the ramp, pointing his thumbs at himself and gesturing to his person. With an intimidating expression, he gets close to the barricades on both sides and shakes them with his hands. Spitting and snarling like a dog before hitting his own head once against the steel steps. Putting his arms to the sky and dragging them towards his chest slowly and with much anticipation, before climbing up the steps and wiping his boots on the apron. Monster Mammoth steps over the top rope, holding it down with his strength, and then gets to the center of the ring. He climbs up on the turnbuckle's middle rope and flexes for the crowd, hopping down from the spot and jogging around the ring once, acting as if every boo is only further motivation. Jessica Carr, Monster Mammoth is a monster of a man that I would hate to meet in a dark alleyway. Victoria Hill, he does look big. CWF has several big stars. Jessica Carr, I would hate to run into Monster Mammoth in a dark alley, after the show, by the dumpsters. Victoria Hill, do what now? Jessica Carr, I'll scream, but you'll know I'm into it. You King Kong wannabe. Take me from behind while I chew on a paper cup from the trash. Victoria Hill, have you taken leave of your senses? Jessica Carr, oh. Yes. I'm fine now. Victoria Hill, thought we lost you there for a moment. Marcelo Sancho, and his opponent, hailing from Dallas, Texas, he is Steve Murdoch. The first 30 seconds of the Raining Blood by Slayer play over the PA system as the arena lights alternate from complete darkness to red. Steve Murdoch stands at the entrance ramp, a barbed wire-wrapped kendo stick in hand. He raises the stick as the guitar riff begins and ring attendants begin pushing out a familiar dumpster right behind Steve Murdoch. The fans cheer at the sight of the dumpster. Jessica Carr, oh, the dumpster that's full of exploding glass spheres that are full of lemon juice. Steve means business tonight. Victoria Hill, someone is gonna get fucked up tonight. Wait, what's going on? Monster Mammoth charges up the aisle, hitting Steve Murdoch with a spear and sending the both of them into the side of the dumpster with a resounding metallic boom. Both men are up right away and begin exchanging punches. The crowd oohs and ahs as they get dangerously close to the edge of the stage. That is until Steve stuns the mammoth with an uppercut and whips him face first into the dumpster, knocking it over. It's a strobe effect as the bomblets spill out of the dumpster and begin exploding all over the place. Steve grabs Mammoth by the back of the neck and leads him around to the other side of the dumpster where broken glass and lemon juice lines the floor. Steve goes for a reverse Russian leg sweep when Mammoth stops him and throws him into the dumpster. There is a strobe light effect of explosions again, but this time as Steve Murdoch is the target of the explosions. He lets out a scream of pain and is silent. Jessica Carr, again, Steve is caught up in his own trap. Will this end the match? Victoria Hill, well, Monster Mammoth seems to think so. Look. Monster Mammoth stands by the ring entrance and blows kisses to the booing fans, taking a bow as if he's done something terrific. Referee, Scott Jones, walks to the arena and points out that Mammoth needs to make a pinfall or get a submission to win the match. It just doesn't matter much where. Mammoth sneers. Monster Mammoth, he's knocked the fuck out. You can go in there and check on his ass. Scott Jones, not my job. You drag him out if you want to win the match. Monster Mammoth sighs and begins to walk toward the dumpster when there are a few more explosions as Steve Murdoch lunges out of the dumpster and catches Mammoth in the midsection with a spear. He lifts Mammoth up and runs through the entrance curtain to the backstage area where people scatter and plants Mammoth onto the concrete floor. Both men are up quickly. Monster Mammoth looks at Steve Murdoch, who is covered in cuts, blood, and lemon juice and pauses for a moment. This gives Steve the chance to land a heart punch that staggers Mammoth back into a set of chairs. Monster Mammoth grabs one steel chair by the legs, folding it as he lifts it up, and cracks Steve over the head with it hard enough to break the chair. Despite the fact that the blow opens up a new gash on Steve's forehead, sending a steady stream of blood down his face to his chest, Steve stands tall. Jessica Carr, that just revealed just how tough Steve Murdoch is. He can take a beating and just tear you up right back. Victoria Hill, I don't know how Steve Murdoch is still standing. Jessica Carr, I would say pure rage. I mean, Steve did say that if he lost, he would give up the hardcore lifestyle. Victoria Hill, oh right. That was a silly thing to say. Monster Mammoth drops the broken steel chair and reaches for another, but Steve reaches into a pocket and pulls out a glass sphere from the dumpster that he slams into the side of Mammoth's face. The sphere explodes, splashing Mammoth's brand new glass wounds in his face and shoulder with lemon juice. Incidentally, this shreds Steve's hand with dozens of cuts. Instead of letting anyone know that he was in pain, Steve closes the bloody hand into a fist and cracks Mammoth in the bloody wounds with it. Mammoth roars in pain and punches back, taking Steve in the side of the head. Another hard right spins Steve around so that Mammoth can hit a tiger suplex. Steve gets back up on wobbly feet, next to a set of double doors. Mammoth rushes at Steve and kicks him straight in the chest to send him through the double doors and into a kitchen. Monster Mammoth follows him inside, where he grabs a baking pan while Steve is slow to get up and whacks him in the face with it, the pan making an impression of Steve's face from the impact. Jessica Carr, I didn't know we had a kitchen here. Victoria Hill, some of the things for sale are cooked in the kitchen and then brought out to the vendors. Jessica Carr, that makes sense. Victoria Hill, I know. What's Mammoth doing now? Monster Mammoth places an empty cooking pot over Steve's head to effectively blind him. He reaches for a kitchen knife, but Steve flails about blindly, instead of taking the pot off of his head, and grabs Mammoth by the shoulders. He delivers a mighty headbutt that staggers both men and busts Mammoth open. Steve Murdoch takes the pot off of his head, revealing yet another streaming gash on his forehead from where he headbutt Mammoth. Mammoth stays a few feet away, pocketing something that can't be seen on camera. Jessica Carr, I wonder what Mammoth just grabbed? Victoria Hill, I assume something to give him the advantage later, or a bite to eat. I mean, it is a kitchen. Steve Murdoch grabs a couple of baking trays and sandwiches Monster Mammoth's head between them with a ringing sound. Steve follows this up with a massive spinebuster onto the kitchen counter, knocking the table over. Steve jumps on the downed Mammoth, intending on mounting him and pounding him in the face with his fists when Mammoth grabs a bottle of lemon juice from the floor and sprays it into Steve's eyes and face. Monster Mammoth throws Steve Murdoch off and staggers to his feet. He grabs a hanging cheese grater and takes it to Steve's forehead, ripping open new wounds before spraying more lemon juice into the wounds. Steve Murdoch yells out in pain, his hand grasping for anything that he can use. He finds the handle to a fryer basket. He pulls it out of the hot oil and presses it to the side of Monster Mammoth's face, getting a scream of white-hot pain from the beast. Jessica Carr, cheese graters and fry baskets. Oh my. Victoria Hill, things are getting dangerous. I know both men are bleeding from numerous wounds, but Steve Murdoch has been bleeding longer than Monster Mammoth. This has to be draining his endurance. Monster Mammoth roars in rage and kicks Steve Murdoch in the gut and hurls him across the kitchen. His hand goes to the handle of the fryer basket that's still stuck to his face and rips it off in a smooth motion. He blinks for a second and lets out a howl of pain. He begins to stalk across the kitchen to where Steve Murdoch landed and hefts him up to his feet. He drags Steve to a garage door where semi-trucks would deliver supplies. Mammoth hefts Steve up and hurls him against the closed door. Steve bounces off of the door and lands on the floor. Mammoth lifts him up and hurls him against the garage door again, watching as he bounces off of the door and lands on the floor. This time, he hits the button to open the door and grabs Steve by the arm to lead him out into the parking lot. Jessica Carr, oh boy. Out in the parking lot where there are more ways to demolish someone. Victoria Hill, good thing we didn't drive here. I mean, I sold my car before Vanguard even started since I knew I wasn't going to be needing it. Jessica Carr, yeah, me too. Not going to be home anytime soon, and if I am, there's Uber. Victoria Hill, yeah, that makes total sense. Monster Mammoth pulls Steve Murdoch over by an expensive-looking blue sports car. He rams Steve's head between his legs, clearly looking for a powerbomb onto the hood when Steve hits a low blow with the back of his head and shoves Mammoth back, getting away from the hood of the car. Monster Mammoth growls angrily and charges Steve Murdoch, but a drop-toe hold sends his face through the passenger side window of said sports car. Mammoth pulls his head from the window, glass embedded in his face as he looks on in anger. Steve Murdoch slams open the door into Monster Mammoth a few times before grabbing Mammoth for a reverse chinlock, bending his spine over the top of the door. The top hinge of the car door breaks, nearly spilling both men onto the ground. It does break the hold, however. Monster Mammoth swoons, likely from the blood loss, and falls to one knee. Steve Murdoch walks over and rips a piece of glass out of Mammoth's face, causing a spray of blood. This reactivates Monster Mammoth and he hits a mighty low blow that lifts Steve Murdoch into the air by 2 feet before setting him down. Steve doubles over while Mammoth looks around the parking lot until he finds a truck with a large bed. He drags Steve over to the truck and throws Steve into the bed. He climbs up to the truck with him and throws Steve onto the cab, following Jessica Carr. Oh my. Victoria Hill. Now time to find out what Mammoth stole from the kitchen. Monster Mammoth reveals a bottle of oil and a Zippo lighter. He sprays the oil into the bed of the truck and lights up the lighter, throwing it into the bed to start the whole thing on fire. Monster Mammoth lifts Steve Murdoch up in a powerbomb position as high as he can and steps forward and drives him into the flaming truck bed. The rear axle of the truck snaps like a twig, sending both rear tires of the truck careening away and sending both men from the truck to the parking lot ground. Monster Mammoth is slow to get to his hands and knees and crawls over to the downed Steve Murdoch, going for the cover. Scott Jones gets into position to start the count. 1, 2, 3. Marcela Sancho, winner of the match via pinfall, Monster Mammoth. Jessica Carr. This was a bloody war that saw them battle from pillar to post, but the end is still Steve Murdoch lost. He has to give up his hardcore ways from now on. Victoria Hill. Okay, EMTs are going to take both men to the hospital to take care of them. No passing go for these two gentlemen. Jessica Carr. Well, that is all the time that we have for tonight. I'm Jessica Carr and this is Victoria Hill. CWF bids you good night. Victoria Hill. #join the conquest.